Are we live or aren't we? I think we are.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live. Good morning, guys. This is True Christian Talk. This is our Monday morning conversation. We're talking straight politics, straight election. It's November 2nd, 2020. It's the day before a major election. And so we are going to be talking politics today with my partner and co-host, James Howard. Jim, how are you, buddy?
Okay.
The ladies love you, bro.
Yeah. Well, it's good to be here. It's good to be here.
We're going to talk about, since it's the day before the election, we're here in Florida, the day before certainly the biggest election in my lifetime. A lot is on the table besides the personalities of the candidates. A lot of it is kind of what they stand for, what they don't stand for behind the scenes. And as Christian men, we've been kind of quelled, right? We've been convinced that we should keep politics and our faith separate unless it suits the other side. They hold us to it. So they speak into Christianity, but they don't want Christian men to speak into politics.
Right.
So it's a double standard. So the other day, we talked about it last week, the Pope mentioned same-sex unions, and all of a sudden everybody on the left is quoting the Pope. Well, what happened to keeping these two things separate? So when it suits them, they're willing to when it suits them, they need Christianity quelled or quieted or shut down. And when what the Christian says suits them, they put it on blast. It's all over the place. So and that's what we saw last week. This week we're going to talk, and Jim's done. I of course am incredibly unprepared. Jim has done a lot of work to prepare for this because he is a true professional, and I have a nice studio. That's what it comes down to. That's all I contribute.
I use you for your studio. I mean, let's be realistic about it. I am so, I know we're not supposed to envy, but I am so envious of this studio. I want one of these at my house, but I don't have the room right now. Who knows? But
one day. So
yeah. So
give us kind of an overview, Jim, of what's going on in the world.
Yeah, I mean, when we take a look at it, they've come out today and said that we've had 93 million people that have pre-voted already. The thing I think is funny is that, and listen, this is their mindset. That still means that there's a lot of people out here that need to vote. So tomorrow is a huge day. But I like the way the Democrats are trying to paint this picture right now. They're trying to paint this picture where there are so many Democrats that love to go out and vote early. So Republicans, don't worry about it. We've got it under control. You don't have to go vote because there's a large majority of Democrats that are voted. And just like what you and I talked about, who are they voting for, though? Democratic businessmen, they're liking the Trump era.
Yeah.
Where they may have been shut down before, or where you had these states that always were voting Democrat and they get their businesses shut down, or the oil or the coal. I mean, look at what was going on with fracking. It was almost gone. I mean, it just was like non-existent.
Yeah.
And then, of course, all the stuff that we were doing in China and sending all of our stuff over there, we have a guy that steps up, and you cannot deny it. I'm sorry, my Democratic friends out here, if you want to listen to this, you cannot deny that before COVID, the economy was the best it had ever been in a long time. The average medium income was higher than it ever had been in over 50 years. Unemployment was the lowest it had been in such a long time. But yet, yes, COVID came down. The government, look, Kevin and I we talk about this a lot every once in a while. We have mixed emotions about what happened to us there. Was it necessary? We don't know. But we do see that the economy is coming back. We just saw the GPD come up, at an unbelievable rate that they hadn't seen in years. And so when we sit down here and we talk, I have like these four things that I always base who I'm going to vote on. First off, we want pro-choice. We want to make sure that we have our religious freedom. I mean, that is one of the most important things to me in my walk. We want to have pro-life. I can't say this enough. I'm kind of excited about the new Supreme Court justice because I would like to see what happens with Roe versus Wade. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be looking at situations, all different situations. There's going to be different situations of rape and incest and things like that. Those things need to be taken into consideration. But just to make it an easy form of birth control, I have a hard time with that one. also pro-gun. Or do you want your Second Amendment? We talked about this last week. They won't really go after the Second Amendment. What they'll try to do if they can pack the courts is go in and say what a militia is and what the meaning of the Second Amendment is. And then, of course, there's pro-law enforcement. Here's what bothers me. As a Republican, and you as a conservative or an independent, if your party doesn't win on election night, you don't go out with your AR-15 or your AK-47 or bottle Molotov cocktails and masks and things like that and start to riot. You don't do that. But yet we have the threat that if Trump wins, that there's going to be rioting in the streets. Police departments are preparing for it.
Businesses are boarding up in democratic cities.
Yeah, I mean, it is so sad. And I was doing I was looking at an article the other day. It was talking about Philadelphia, where there's this 53-second video of where they went in and completely destroyed a little boutique shop. And when you read about the people who were there, they put their business. They went into debt just to have this business, and within 53 seconds, it was gone. It was gone. And what is this? What is this? So those are some of the things that, like I said, those four things. If you believe in any of those, you need to make sure that you're voting for Trump, because they've already started talking about the religion. If you don't have same-sex marriage, if you don't, it wasn't even like if you don't do them, if you don't agree to them, they're going to strip you of your 501c3 status. If you're not pro-life, you know, they're forcing you. They tried to force us under Obamacare for contraceptives, and religious organizations that pay for their health insurance for their businesses, Hobby Lobby, they took them to court on it because they don't believe in that philosophy. Pro-gun, they're going to try every single way they can limit your gun rights. They're going to try to make it to where you can only buy one gun every year, or they're going to tell you what type of guns you can buy. They're going to outlaw what they call assault rifles. And then, of course, pro-law enforcement. The incident that happened in Philadelphia, I'm telling you, I've watched that video multiple times. When I came on the police department as a young police officer, we had a sergeant that went to this house, who had been at this house multiple times, where the person inside was bipolar, like this guy was out here in Philadelphia. And he went in, and this was a female. He went in to talk to her. She pulled a knife out and stabbed him right in the chest and killed him.
Yeah.
So and he had a wife and a family. So these are things that, unless you're out there, let me come at you with a knife and see what you want to do. You know, you're probably, if I give you a baseball bat, you're going to be swinging it at me. So we have to pay attention to what their rhetoric is all about. And
to me, if talking about the election, what worries me the most is Biden really doesn't have to defend his positions, because our media is defending his positions for him. So I'm flipping through the news, and I just got Sling TV, because I don't like to watch the news, but I got it because we started this show, and I really should keep up a little bit more with current events. But the every channel, ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, half of Fox, or some of Fox even, are making Biden's arguments for him. Well, I'd like to hear him say it.
Right.
And the idea that our media is so controlled or so aligned with one of the political parties should be a concern, not just for Christians or Republicans, but it should be a concern for every American, that their media is being controlled by a political party, and that the information you get, and the Hunter Biden laptop thing is a good example, and that's Twitter and Facebook, but very little reporting on it. If that was one of the Trump kids and Trump, you would never hear the end of it.
We haven't heard the end of it. We heard that Trump Jr. had a conversation with a Russian at Trump Tower.
Yeah.
Well, we found out what it was about. They were interested in helping children. When they talked to the woman, they realized she was not with this organization, and the conversation
it was a setup or a trick.
It was a setup.
But the idea that folks who, like I say every week, that I love and respect, have such what seems to me delusional opinions about what's going on. Their selective outrage is, I get it on one level. I have a lot of Trump friends too, and they are over the top with Trump. But the idea that our system is collapsing, or I say if and this is what we're looking at with the election in 2020. If neither side accepts the outcomes of an election, then the republic has already fallen.
Yes.
In other words, the rest is just formality.
Right.
Because if one of these guys doesn't win by a landslide, and I mean a big, more than 10-point landslide, they're going to contest, and they're going to find ballots, and they're going to this, and they're going to that, and oh well, look, we just found a whole bunch of boxes of ballots for Biden. It's not going to stop, and that to me is what concerns me. So as a Christian, I'm in this world. I'm not of this world.
Right.
If Biden loses and Trump gets another 4 years, it's going to get ugly quick. If Biden wins, it's going to get ugly slowly. Either way, it's getting ugly. And if 4 years from now, it'll probably be a Democrat, and they're not going to come to break even. They're going to come to finish off everything they disagree with.
Well, they've already started saying it now. I mean, I don't even want to mention her name, but she came out and said, that we're going to come after those that voted for Trump. Now, a lot of people say, oh, she didn't really say that. In a roundabout way, she did.
Yeah.
We're going to go after those that supported this president.
Yeah.
That's what they said. And, when they say things like that, it's like a threat to you. It
intimidates the average voter, too, or maybe slightly above average voter, somebody that would actually follow that stuff. But they're going to shut down. The people they're going to go after, by the way, is not the mainstream media. It's going to be all these right-wing YouTube guys that I think do a tremendous job reporting on things that no one reports about.
Right.
And so I like to see that I got you can turn on CNN and get what everybody knows, and then you can turn on these other guys and get what the things nobody's talking about, and that's the part that's the rub. So they're going to shut down the Glenn Becks and the Tim Pools and the
Tatum,
Dave Rubin, Officer Tatum, Ben Shapiro,
brothers. All these. I mean, all these guys that when you sit down and listen to them. I mean, I'll never forget the first time that you told me to look at this video. This was on the shooting.
Tatum,
and Tatum had broken it down, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" And I really enjoyed him. And for y'all that don't know him,
watch Brandon Tatum.
Tatum,
the real Officer Tatum. What's he called?
Officer Tatum. It's called the Officer Tatum. He's a black guy. I mean, and everybody goes, "Well, this is your white opinion." No, go listen to what he has to say. Yeah. And this was the other thing that took me about him was that I had watched him that one time, and then, of course, he pops up now because I'd watched him.
Yeah.
And I see he had a T-shirt on that says "God rules," and I was like, "Whoa, time out here. Let me go back and look at this guy again." And he proclaims his faith.
Yeah.
And so this is somebody that not only is he a Christian, but he also looks at it from a true point of view. It's not like a gray area. When Breonna Taylor was shot and killed, he came online and said a couple of things about, hey, we need to take a whole look at everything because I don't know exactly what this is, don't know what. But as the information started to come in, he went out and said, okay, listen. He went and got the police report. I mean, the whole full investigation, and said, you need to read this. Well, I went and read it. She was just much involved in that drug organization. She was a money person. She allowed this guy to live at her house that they were going after. He had used her address on one of his banking accounts. In the jailhouse tapes, the conversations, he's saying, I gave her a lot of money to hold for me, because I could trust her. Yeah. She knew where the money was coming from. She'd been to the house.
That's an interesting point because when they come out with these superfluous news reports, I always go back to the guy in who was the original guy? Michael Brown?
Yeah, Michael Brown. Yeah.
I'm listening to the radio because I'm driving, and I hear the cops shoot unarmed boy, and so an unarmed kid, and so this is what if I never heard another report about it again. That's the impression I would have, and that's the impression millions of people have. So, as it turns out, this guy was a giant trying to take the cop's gun. We got all the information, but I bite until the last 6 or 12 months. I bit on all of them in the beginning.
Yep.
And not being a huge fan of the police, I'm pro-police, but I've had my run-ins with them myself. I know they could be bullies and heavy-handed. They got a hard job to do, right? We talked about it on other shows where they're so used to a stereotypical interaction with someone like me who rides a Harley, has tattoos, has his head shaved, lives in Holiday, that they just assume that I fit a certain cookie cutter demographic, right? And so I understand that they're so busy and have there's 10 in 2019. There was 10 million police interactions in America.
Yeah.
10 million of them.
And just to go on law enforcement one more time, ride with them for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Get out here and see what they're dealing with. Go out here and take a look at what they're dealing with. Read the police reports. You know, one of the best shows, and trust me, I didn't watch it that much, was the live PD, because you got to see a little bit. You did not really get to see the subculture that lives out here.
Yeah.
And until you get into our school systems, until you get into the court systems, or until you get into law enforcement, there is a subculture that lives out here. And you want to know where it's going to be election night? It's going to be out here burning down your buildings and doing those type of activities. And is that what you're voting for?
There were people on the Pasco Real TV, Pasco County Sheriff's
Sure.
on there a lot. I knew some of the people
Yeah.
that they were. I mean, they would come to my church, or they were in recovery with me. So it's very real. And I can tell you,
You
that
see it on the other side. I was seeing it on people that, I taught at the academy. So
well, you know that I used to do everything myself around here, church security wise.
Right.
And then you're the one that said first build the team and then include the sheriffs in everything.
Yes.
Right. I even had them come out to walk the property with me.
Sure.
And they, but I rely on them. We just had the problem with the drug dealing in the woods right next door, who were then using the drugs on my property and leaving fecal matter and needles and crack pipes. And they took care of the guys in the woods. I walk the campus every morning clean as a whistle for the most part. So they really do. It's nice to have somebody do the things that we don't want to do. They do the dangerous things, so we don't have to. I did the dangerous things because I was stupid and didn't want the cops involved. But I've come a long way on my law enforcement view. Here's the thing: you can't take away guns and take away police at the same time.
No.
I can't believe that they would try to play both of those cards in the same election cycle. Yeah. And speaking of the election, is this the year that we should be we should try mail-in balloting? Of all the years that we could have tried this, how about in a midterm election where not so much is at stake? They're doing mail-in ballots, which are highly corruptible, during the most corruptible and contentious election of our lifetime. That can't be by accident.
No, I mean, it's not by accident. And listen, if you're a person out here that thinks that, oh, yes, because of COVID, this is a great way for us to be able to vote. No, they realize that they're going to lose this election unless they do something underhanded. I'm going to go back to when Romney was running for president. The IRS went out and started to audit and refused to give 501c3s that wanted to work as a Christian conservative 501c3 that was going to do things that pushed people toward the Romney campaign,
right.
And they shut them down. And I'm telling you right now, that had an effect because, listen, we'll be on Facebook Live. Facebook has flagged us, in my other life. They've already flagged us. So it's only a matter of time, especially if Trump doesn't win, that we will be flagged.
Right, and they're going to, like we've talked about it plenty of times, but things will get, if Trump wins, things are going to get crazy instantly. If he loses, they're going to get crazy for us slowly. But the result is, and the truth is, it's God's plan, it's God's hands, God's design. But we still are compelled to do the right thing or take the Christian worldview, even in our politics.
I want to get back to God's plan. You said this, and I want to make sure that we're perfectly clear here. God gave us free will, and he left us in this world, not to be of this world, but to take his word and get it out to the world, okay? And we can go back and look at Israel. Israel was God's chosen people. But how many times when they turned their back on him, that he turned his back on them, and they were captured, put into slavery. All these different things happened. So until they came back to God, it was where his plan started to come into play because you had men, Christian men, pushing the agenda. Now, if we in this country want to continue to say it's God's plan and not vote or not be involved, we're going to see that happen to us.
I think we're already seeing it. In fact, I think that Christianity,
are.
And I've only been a Christian for 10 years, but Christianity in the last 60 years has turned the power over to the secular world. So we are paying our price, or our kids are paying a price, or we're paying a price today for lack of decisions that were made 20 and 30 and 40 years ago. So the idea, like we talked about at the top of the show, that they can speak into Christianity, but we can't speak into politics,
right,
is foolish. And,
yes.
and you are.
It's not true.
Yeah, and we should be doing those things. Now,
I want to go back real quick before we change this. Here's where they're going to affect us in religion. They don't have to. They don't have to like come up and say you cannot do this. Here's how they can affect us. They can come out and where Trump has banned critical race theory and intersectionality in all federal buildings. Right. Period. No federal training, no federal money going toward it. All these different things like that. You let the Democrats come back in, they're going to put that back into play. And every person is a racist. So guess what they're also going to force the churches to go with?
Yep.
The Southern Baptist Convention tried it already. The Pope says you don't have to believe in Christ to be saved. That was another one I found out about.
Oh, did he say that?
Yes, back in 2015.
Well,
a good conscience will get you into heaven. I couldn't believe this. I had to go and do the research on it. And, of course, the Vatican quickly –
the bishops unwind what he
backed
says.
Up and said,
but it's too late. Nobody listens to a bishop. Everybody listens to the Pope.
Yeah, the Vatican was saying, well, you took it out of context because that's not what he really meant. What did he mean then? When he tells a young kid that his father has died and the kid says, my dad is an atheist, will I see him again? And the Pope says, well, was your dad a good guy? Well, then he'll be in heaven. That's not what it says.
Well, he's got a different Bible. It's the Apocrypha. Well, here's something. I'm surprised I'm the only one that's worried about this, but we now have a Catholic on the Supreme Court. Are they going to repeal the Reformation?
Ooh.
Or are they going to outlaw, now that there's a Catholic on the Supreme Court, are they going to outlaw Protestantism? We should be concerned about that.
I don't know about that.
I think they're going to round us up.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to switch back. I'm going to switch back teams like Josephus.
He's back into his conspiracy theories. Okay. But listen. Let me say something else. If you have an organization that comes to you, this is what the unions used to do, and don't get me wrong, unions had their place. Yeah. I'm going to say this: unions
were important.
They were very important. But when they would come to you and say, either you vote this way or we're going to kick you out of the union, you won't get your union this, you won't get your union card and all these things like this, you won't get jobs, that's threat and intimidation. That's fear, and that is something that we have to get rid of. But yet the Democratic Party right now comes out and says things like, Joe Biden, you heard him, says if you vote for Donald Trump, you're not black. What the heck was that?
Yeah.
You know?
And that would ruin any other political campaign.
It would.
Howard Dean screamed like a cowboy, and it finished him.
We're going to Washington. Wow!
And
that was it.
He says if you're having trouble deciding who to vote for, you ain't black.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, well, that's true. You know?
No.
Or at least the whole of mainstream media just let it go. They gave him another free pass, which they learned to do for Obama, I believe.
And this is why it's kind of a little bit late right now, but you should have been doing your research on this. You should have been doing your own studies. You should have been looking at your own stuff. Because if you went out and took a look, you would see like 50 Cent saying he doesn't. Now, see, he did his research. He went and looked at the Biden tax plan. What they're talking about their economics. And he realized he's going to lose half of his money.
He's going to be 20 cents.
Yeah, he's going to be 20 cents. And he didn't want to be that, so he said, no, I'm not voting for him. Of course, his crazy girlfriend got a hold of him, and he retracted that, which when he gets into that room, I hope he has the balls. I guess we can say that.
You can say balls.
Yeah. I hope he has the balls to vote the way his conscience is, you know. I mean, you have Ice Cube. And see, this is something that's very important. This is something.
I'm going to make a prediction at the end of the show. Go ahead.
Okay. But Ice Cube came out and said, I like the way he said it, I'm not supporting the candidate. I'm supporting the group that came to me and said, we want to look at your plan. We want to implement your plan.
Yeah.
Where the Democratic side didn't even return his calls, he said. But when he threw it out there to the Republican side, his son-in-law, Kirshner, when he put it out there, he contacted him and said, let's talk. Let's sit down and talk. And so they're talking about implementing that. Now, if you're a person that's on the fence and you're just not sure and you're a black person, I'm going to tell you this right now. The party that wants to work with you and make your life better is the Republican Party. And you may have a hard time with that and think that we're all racist. We're not. We're not. And the thing of it is the ones that want to work, if you go and do your research, look at what Trump has done for the black colleges, has done for the unemployment for blacks. Look at all the different things that he has done for the black population. Hispanic, the same way. Please, do you want to be a Colombia when it was drug czars and things like that? because that's exactly what you're looking at if you let Biden in, is that he wants to bring you back to the old days. So we have to pay attention to what is going on. Go ahead.
I think that our the Hispanic community, at least a lot of my friends, and being a Free Methodist, we have a lot of Hispanic churches. They are more conservative than they would allow you to believe, or the media would allow you to believe. So I think people that have lived under a communist regime will not vote Democratic. I'm wondering how many Democrats are going to vote for Trump. I suspect a lot of the Kennedy-esque Democrats are going to vote for Trump, because socialism, if you have an economics degree like AOC, and you still think socialism works, I've got to wonder if your professor skipped the 20th century. How do you think that this is going to work this time when it's never worked before? They argue we have a socialist economy, or a semi-socialist economy now, but what we have is a free market that supports social programs. Mm-hmm. And if you get rid of the free market, you can't support the social programs. Right. So I think we're winding down. We got 5 minutes left.
Okay.
But, I think I got to go do some kind of infomercial today on recovery. So I'm going to be famous, Jim.
I've heard that.
I'm going to start calling you Tim by accident and stuff like that, because I'm going to be like way up here. But we have.
I can see how when my book comes out, that's going to be.
Then I'll be like, I know Jim Howard. Here's my prediction. You heard it here on True Christian Talk. Pastor Kevin says Trump will win with 300 electoral college delegates or more. I think he's going to win fairly convincingly. So I think the shy Republican, or the
closet, yeah.
I think the silent majority that I suspected won it for him last time is still there. I think it's stronger than ever, and I think, thank God, patriotism is not dead in this country. I think the Kennedy type Democrats are going to see all the violence, most of the violence, being on the left, and they're not going to be okay with this. I think people that would traditionally vote Democrat are going to vote Republican. I think the riots have a lot to do with it, and I think the economy has a lot to do with it. So that's my prediction. Trump, more than 300 delegates.
All right. I got two last things to say before we close up.
I'm putting you on camera, buddy. Go.
All right, I'm on camera. All right, just what Kevin just said about this is not your John F. Kennedy group. John F. Kennedy, remember what he said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. This was the John F. Kennedy Democrats. These are the ones that wanted to make a change. And this was talking about the Peace Corps. I mean, he was trying to get people out here to do more for the country. That is not what the Democrats are today. They want to take over your life and control you. That is what they're at. And here's my closing point, because I think this is very important. Joe Biden has already come out multiple times and said, we're going to have a dark winter here.
Yeah.
They're going to shut us down again. We're going to have drug overdoses, suicides, divorces, all these things like this. He is predicting a dark winter. Donald Trump is out here talking about the light, talking about being outside. And listen to what Proverbs 4:18 and 19 says. The path of the righteous is like the morning sun, shining ever brighter till the full light of day. But the way of the wicked is like deep darkness. They do not know what makes them stumble. Joe Biden is the deep darkness. They are the wicked. You can read it right here. It's telling us, look at what you see when you're out here watching these two, the differences between the two. One is very positive. We need to be voting for that positive atmosphere, that positive person, and get away from this doom and gloom that the Biden camp wants us to believe in. Vote Republican. Go vote.
And that is, I think, you're exactly right. So they've created this mayhem in society right now, with cities burning and riots and everything else. And then they're saying this is Trump's America. Well, they created this. They support it. They certainly don't speak out against it, right? And so I think the people that support Antifa and Black Lives Matter are being played. I think they're being once again, the African American community is being exploited by white Democrats, or white people, period. And I don't say that the Republicans are above doing that same thing, but it always seems to be the Democrats doing it. I think party politics, partisanship is a big problem. That's why I became an independent 20 years ago or 25 years ago. I don't remember. But I cannot see myself voting for a Democrat. I would vote a straight Republican ticket if I didn't know better, if I didn't know something about the person that I didn't like. And I voted for Gore. I was glad Bush won after 9/11, but I was a Clinton guy, not Hillary, but Bill.
Yeah, a lot of people. He was a charismatic person. There was a lot of people that liked him. And he did some good things, but he had a Republican Congress.
Yeah, and in fact. That's how I was introduced to Newt Gingrich, who I thought was a brilliant thinker, and I never heard anybody talk like that before.
Yeah.
I had just really gotten into politics at the time, and it was absolutely amazing. I love Newt Gingrich.
But he and Clinton sat down because they saw the temperature of the country, the political ebb and flow, and he said, "Okay, let's work together on some things."
Like Reagan and Moynihan did. They hated each other,
but
they would sit down and hammer stuff out.
Yep.
And those days are gone, by the way. I think
they truly are.
I think if the Democrats don't win, they would need to redefine who they are. But I thought that in 2016. I think they'll double down on the insanity instead.
Okay, you forced this. I'm going to say one last thing then, because you started this.
Okay, we're at 31 minutes and 6 seconds.
If you are a Democrat, this year you need to vote for Trump. But next time during the election, find a Democrat that is pro-gun, pro-life,
pro-church,
and put that person in.
And pro-business.
And pro-business. And pro-wanting to work. The ones that we have in right now are the swamp. Yeah. It's all about personal interest and not about the interest of the country. So get rid of those, and let's get back to work, and let's make this country great again.
I don't say a lot of nice things about Trump, and I'm not going to break my streak today, but he was a necessary evil. He was a necessary interruption to a more perverse political system and media than I think I was aware of. I mean, we needed Trump to expose the underbelly of our politics and media.
The swamp.
And he did more as a non-politician. You just think about getting back hostages from around the world. He did more. That means that in the last 24 years, 8 years of Obama, 8 years of Bush, 8 years of Clinton, they could have got these people back and didn't. And this TV show host goes and the first thing he says is, "Yeah, we'll talk to you. Give us back our hostages." And they're like, "Okay, here's your hostages." No one else thought of that.
You keep this up because I'm going to say one more thing. We're not talking about terrorism this election. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
We're not talking about it.
There's peace in the Middle East.
There's peace in the Middle East.
Nobody's talking about that.
Yeah,
5 countries have signed on.
I know,
including one. Chad was technically at war with Israel, and they've signed on.
So we're not talking about that. So like I said.
It's not that bad.
Let's keep it going. Let's not
Jared
change the
Kushner
course.
Could be the Antichrist. That'll be our next show because he's creating peace in the Middle East.
No, we're gonna talk about masculinity, Christian masculinity.
What it means to be Christian and a man at the same time.
Exactly right.
And is it just what would you call it? Xenophobic? No. Chauvinistic or
chauvinistic?
Is it healthy, right? Is it how God designed a relationship to be? That's kind of the theme of our channel. So that should be a topic every week.
Yep.
That's it. We're over our 30-minute mark in our true professionalism. And so I want to thank you guys for watching the show. Please, if you see our stuff on social media, True Christian Talk, share it, comment on it, give it a thumbs up, give it a thumbs down, but comment. Yeah. Get it out there and become part of the conversation. I know the conversations we're going to have are not going to be particularly appealing to the non-Christian community, but that's what my other show is about. So for this, I think we need to build a coalition of Christian men that we embolden to stand firm in Scripture.
But let's make sure that we're perfectly clear on this. Those that are not Christian or not conservative, we welcome your comments.
Yeah,
we really, truly do, because we want to have a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this not having the conversation. I want to have brothers out here that want to open up and talk about what the things that we're talking about, and not yell at each other or scream at each other.
You got to argue well. If you come in with attitude, Kevin's a racist, we've already ended the conversation, because anybody that knows me knows that's not true.
Me too.
I would hope so.
Me too.
So that's it. We love you guys. Thank you for watching.
God bless you.
Get the word out there. Get some folks in watching, and please
vote.
We're going to follow the comments during the week. We're going to try to comment your comments. So I've got to go right now because I've got a big Hollywood production I'm part of.
You're going to be late because you keep talking.
I know. I never.
You got to have the last word.
So I'm a pastor. I never shut up. That's it. I love you guys. Have a great day.
God bless you. Go vote.
See you next Monday.